All right, in the last section, we have created our server and we have run the server on port 3000. In this section, we're going to connect our application to the database, and the database we're going to use is MongoDB, and we need to install a package called Mongoose to be able to easily interact with the database, create models, and etc. So here inside the terminal, now let's create another terminal, one for the front end and one for the back end. So the front end is a client here. We just say npm run dev. We run the client side, and also for the back end, we just need to say npm run dev as well to run the node.mod. So the server is running on port 3000. What we can do, I want to open another terminal, but this terminal should be in the root of our project because we want to install in the backend. So here I'm going to install a package called Mongoose. And then we need to import Mongoose at the top here. We just say import Mongoose from Mongoose. And then we want to use a method from Mongoose called connect. So we just say mongoose.connect. But here we want to have our application string. So we need to get this application string from the MongoDB website. So we need to go to the Chrome. I'm going to search for MongoDB. And in the search result, we just go to mongodb.com. And here we need to, if you don't have an account, make sure to create an account. It's free. You can just click here, start free, and then you just fill up the form or create it with your Google. I already have an account, so I'm going to just click on sign in, and here I'm going to connect with my MongoDB account with my Google account. And then once you are inside your MongoDB, you can see your previous projects, like this one, my previous project. And otherwise, if you wanted to create a new project, you just click on this arrow, and then you just click on new project. You can just name your project. For example, I just name it MERN Estate, and just click on next. And here, we don't want to add anyone else, so we just click on create project. So once we create our project, we need to create our database. So as you can see, we can create our a deployment, or you can just go to here, database, and then build a database here. So we just click on build a database. They ask you which type of service we need. We can just choose the free one. It doesn't matter. You can just test your application, and later on, if you have a successful application with a lot of traffic, you can just change it anytime. But choose the free one for now. You can choose which provider you need. We can just choose the AWS and choose this region. You can choose the region near your place, or near the place that most of your customer will be. I just use America. And then you just name this cluster. For example, I just say MERN Estate, and then you just click on create here. Once we do that, they ask you for the username, password, and just choose the IP address. So it's just a simple form you need to fill. I just use Sahand for username and password Sahand, so I can remember that. And then you can just choose this cloud environment advanced, because later we want to deploy it, so we need to add different things. And then after that, you just need to specify the IP address. So the IP address of your computer can be added here. For example, add my current IP address, which is added already here for me. But if you want to have access to your application from everywhere, you just choose 000. So if you want to change your computer, or you think that you're going to go somewhere else, work on your computer, and your IP will be different, so you add this 000, but later you can change this one and remove that one and add the IP address of your server that we're going to deploy. So here we're going to add this, and then finally we just click on finish and close. And as you can see, congratulations on setting up your access rules. We just go and overview. So our application is created. We just need to connect to it. We just click on connect here. If you click on connect, they give you several options, but we just want the URI of this. So we just need to get this code. You just click on driver and then come here and copy this code. So you just click here to copy it, and then you just need to go to your Visual Studio Code and paste it here. Once you do that, you get connected to the database, but you need to specify the password, because the password is just the word password here. My password was Sahan, so I just add Sahan. So if you don't get an error here, it means that you are connected. And also you can choose a name for your cluster here too after the /. For example, I just saved MERN estate. And then if you want to share your application with others, if you want to do that, if you want to put your application in places like GitHub and share it with other people, so you cannot put it like this, your code here, because everybody else can see your password and use it. So the best practice is to hide it using an environmental variable. So here we can just create a new file called .env, and here we're going to create a variable called Mongo, or any name would be acceptable. And then we can just cut this one and paste it here. All right. So, and then if you want to use it here, you just need to say process.env.mongo. Okay. So this is going to call that variable, but inside the GitHub, people see only this word, process.env.mongo, because this .env is going to be ignored when you're uploading it. And then, as you can see, we are getting an error actually here. The reason we are getting an error, because by default, you cannot use an environmental variable inside the backend. You need to install another package to be able to do that. So we're going to install another package here called .env. So you just say npm install .env, and we need to import it at the top, import .env from .env, and then we need to initialize it using .env.config like this. So if we check now, we can see that we are not getting an error here. That's a good sign, but we don't know actually we are connected or not. So we need to have some feedback to be able to detect that we are connected or not. So we can just say if the connection is successful, then for example, console log connected to DB. And then we just say otherwise, catch an error. If there is an error, catch the error and console log the error like this. So let's see if we are, we need to close the parentheses here. Okay. And then we need to remove this parentheses. Okay. So now we can see that inside the terminal, we are getting the word connected to the MongoDB. So it means it's working. All right. So, and if you, for example, and have an error, for example, if my password is wrong, I add an X here. And then if you save this file again, you can see after we get an error here, and we see the error here, which is bad authentication. Okay. So that's the feedback we can get, and we know what is the error. So we can just fix my password. So now we should see connected to DB correctly. All right. So that was it for connecting to database. In the next section, we're going to work on creating the model. But first, let's add this one to the GitHub. So if you check here, you can see that inside the